It's September 20th in Coconino National Forest in northern Arizona near the city of Flagstaff, and the weather's getting slightly chilly, but it's okay. I sleep with 2 blankets at night, but it's still a pretty good temperature, especially in the daytime. I wasn't really aware of it until fairly recently when I was researching edible plants in this area, but pine trees, possibly all species of pine trees, are edible, and they're tasty too, and high in vitamin C, so that's good because vitamin C helps improve the immune system, and it's a good vitamin to have. Vitamin C deficiency can result in scurvy, which can lead to tooth loss, and all kinds of other awful side effects. It was a problem for sailors back in the Middle Ages. Apparently Native Americans ate these pine trees, and they're pretty tasty. I think all the pine trees surrounding me in this forest are Ponderosa pine trees. They may be the only pine trees that grow in this forest, in this particular area anyway. And I know from experience and research that they're edible, but it's definitely a good idea to research particular species of pine trees before eating them, just to be sure, because I don't actually know if every species of pine is edible. But from what I've read, it seems that most, if not all, pine tree species are edible. But juniper and yew trees are not edible. They are apparently toxic. I've eaten juniper berries before and didn't get sick, but generally juniper trees are toxic. I don't know if junipers and yews are actually pine trees, but they look similar. But they look different enough that they can be easily identified, junipers and yews. These Ponderosa pines have a strange sweet cocoa smell to them. Basically this entire forest smells like sweet cocoa, and up close the pine trees smell very strongly of sweet cocoa, and they taste pretty good too. So now I'm gonna go eat some of these Ponderosa pine trees. I'm pretty sure these are all Ponderosa pine trees. That may be all that grows here, other than a few oak trees. And unfortunately today is nice and cloudy, so it's not too hot. And these small young pine trees, in my experience, the needles taste better. They're more sour. You can taste the vitamin C. And the older pine trees, the needles are more bitter. So I'm gonna eat these needles now. I have these pine needles, and it's good to fold them up because these are a choking hazard. So it's good to fold them up first and then chew them up so they stop being needle-like. It's good to chew them up so there's something like this, because the needles can get stuck to the back of your throat and be a choking hazard. They taste like minty lemons. They're sour. Pretty good actually. Slightly bitter, but very slightly. Completely edible, especially considering that they have vitamin C in them. And I like to chew them at the front of my mouth because I can control them better. If I chew them with my side teeth, then they disintegrate and make a mess. So I like to chew them with my front teeth. These are kind of better than gum because you can chew on them and get all the vitamin C out, and then they don't lose their flavor and gain a bad flavor after chewing them for a long period of time. They kind of just become flavorless. So it's pretty good to eat, and they taste good, especially the younger pine tree needles. They're very lemony. These needles taste like minty lemons, and the saliva can be swallowed and contains vitamin C. And they can be chewed for as long as desired. Apparently they're not very good to actually eat and swallow, the needles, because from what I read, they're hard on the digestive system because they're very fibrous, like fiber or wood or something. And if you're trying to conserve water, from what I read, trying to digest them will consume a lot of water, which could be bad in a survival situation and cause thirst. Apparently the Native Americans ate the inner bark of these trees, and it's nice and soft and sweet. But these are national forest trees, so I think it's illegal to cut them. But I've already tried eating some of this this near inner bark, and it tasted good. So I'll do that now. Apparently the deep inner bark is white and tender and sweet, but this inner bark is good to eat too. I finally got a little piece of it. Now I'm going to eat it. So I'm going to eat this little piece of bark. And it tastes very good. It tastes like Christmas spice, like cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. It kind of tastes like the smell of these trees, sweet cocoa. And that wasn't the deep inner bark, and it's still edible. It's not too woody, and can be chewed up. Could probably be a decent source of carbs in a survival situation. And it would probably be good if some kind of drink was made from it. Maybe if it was ground into a powder, because it tastes spicy like cinnamon and cocoa or something. Another thing that can be eaten is the sap, but I'm not going to eat any because I tried eating it before and it does not dissolve in water. So it was stuck to my teeth for about 24 hours. Here's a little piece of it. It tastes like the bark. Very spicy, like cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg, and can be chewed up. It'd probably be good for making things waterproof because it doesn't dissolve in saliva, probably doesn't dissolve in water either. So I'm not going to eat any of it because I already tried before and it was annoying to have sap stuck to my teeth for such a long time. Even after brushing my teeth, it was almost impossible to remove. But it can be eaten, and it's pretty flavorful too. Some kind of candy could possibly be made out of it. Now that I probably have tree bark stuck in my teeth, I'm gonna make some tea from the pine needles. I haven't tried it before. I think I watched a YouTube video about it, so it's going to be an experiment. I suspect it will be tasty, probably lemony and minty, and maybe good if honey or sugar is added to it. Probably good plain too, because the needles taste pretty good plain in my opinion. They taste lemony and minty. So now I'm going to make some tea from pine needles, the ever-abundant source of vitamin C. I'm going up to my fire pit. It's just over here where I used to camp. I moved to this camp over here because it's quieter, because the highway was very loud at this old camp. But I built a fire pit and don't have a reason to build another fire pit because I don't mind taking the walk. It's probably safe, a safe habit to develop, having a fire pit far away from the camp, because in some places there may be animals that would be attracted to the smell of cooking things. So it's good to have a fire pit far from the camp. I don't know if there are any animals around here. I haven't had any problems with any. Apparently there may be bears and mountain lions in Arizona, but apparently they're rare. I've never had problems with any. Wouldn't want any problems with them. I think generally those animals stay far away from mankind, so maybe pretty safe here. I'm not really far out into the wilderness. Their house is just over that way, about 2 miles, 1 mile, and the highway is over there. Here's my fire pit. Here's some young pines that I'm going to collect needles from, because I like they taste better than the older pines, which are generally have bitter needles. more bitter. They're still edible, but they're more bitter. I think from my experience that I need to crush these needles because they're almost impenetrable without crushing them. And I think it would be easier to make tea from crushed needles. So I'll gather some needles and then smash them up so that they're more, it's possibly easier to make tea from them. I've never tried making tea from these. I just eat them plain because it's more convenient. But I imagine the tea will be pretty good. This may be enough needles. I've never made tea before from these. Don't know how strong it will be, but it should be enough. Now I'm going to crush these needles. It seems like the easiest way for me to crush these needles right now is to chew them up just a little, like this. Kind of gross, but oh well. These needles have liquid in them. It's pretty interesting, and it tastes like sour vitamin C. So I'm going to keep crushing up these needles by chewing them. These needles are probably crushed up enough. I'm going to set them aside because I don't want to boil them. Maybe they need to be boiled, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to try it without boiling them. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of water. And there's some particles in there from when I made coffee. I don't mind drinking those again, all stuck to the sides of the pot. That's probably enough water. Now I'm going to boil it. As usual, it should be pretty easy to start a fire here. This place is a tinderbox. Very dangerous. Often there are fire restrictions, but currently they're off. Fortunately. Shouldn't take long to boil that small amount of water. It's been about 4 minutes and it's boiling nicely. Now it's time to add the pine needles. Now I'm going to heat these over the fire just to make sure that they brew properly. Never tried this before, so we'll see what happens. The water's boiling, so now I will remove these and let them brew. Looks like something's happening. Maybe it wasn't enough needles. I could boil off some water probably. We'll see what happens. I imagine it probably does have a flavor to it. Yeah, it tastes like tea. Maybe not enough pine needles, but I don't know. I'll let it brew for a little while. See what happens. It's brewed for about 15 minutes. Let's see what it's like. Looks kind of thin. Tastes alright. Tastes pretty strong. Doesn't taste extremely weak. It could probably use more pine needles, but it's still totally drinkable and tastes fine. Not too watery. Tastes about exactly what I thought it would taste like. Lemony mint. Now it's time to drink this pine needle tea. Actually does taste somewhat strong, even though it looks thin. Tastes lemony and minty. Pretty good, actually. It would probably be great if more pine needles were used and then sugar added to it. It may taste like lemonade tea because it has a very lemony taste. Lemony, piney, mint taste. It's basically vitamin C tea. So I'm gonna drink this tea, and it's pretty good actually. Even it looks like it's really thin, but it actually is pretty good in its current form. Not too weak, not too watery. Tastes like tea. Pine needle tea. A good source of vitamin C. And a good way to prevent scurvy. Here's what happens after the pine needles are chewed up. They lose their color and kind of taste like a minty toothpick, but they don't get a bad flavor like what may happen to gum. And they're very fibrous, so I like to chew them in my front teeth, the pine needles, because if I chew them in my side teeth, then they can be messy. It's basically like gum, vitamin C gum. One thing I really like to eat from these pine trees are these male pine cones. These small things that arrive in spring and summer are male pine cones. And these are female pine cones, and they take maybe a year to grow. But these ones are seasonal, and they taste like wheat bread mixed with sugar. They're actually noticeably sweet. And their texture is like wheat grain, because these little pieces come off and it's like eating wheat. It's like wheat bran, and there's a ton of them on these trees. I've gathered some of these male pine cones. They contain pollen, so somebody allergic to pine pollen may be allergic to them. I eat them like this. Don't eat the inside stem because it's bitter. I just eat the little pieces of grain. And it tastes good. Not cooked or anything. It's basically like a berry. And it tastes like wheat bread mixed with sugar.